Hmm. Ever since I found out, I heard of the benefits of watermelon for men. You understand? So ever since I've taken the fruit very serious. But then let's head straight to what we're here for. Welcome, guys. Welcome to our channel. One Melody here once again, and today I want to be showing you a beat breakdown, um, a fire beat I actually made, and I decided to show the beat process, the mixing, how I mix my drums and my instruments. So just watch through the tutorial and you'll learn one or two things. So let's get it started. This plugin on the screen, this plugin is what makes FL Studio the best DAW compared to all DAWs out there. Yes, this argument of there's no best DAW, I believe it, yes, there is none. Just like the Ronaldo and Messi argument can never end. But then I've not seen any DAW that has something as powerful as Patcha. Though a lot of this is the most underlooked plugin that this plugin is so I'm going to make a separate video on Patcha because this is one of the best things you can have in your DAW. You can create your own plugins with Patcha. You can do a lot of crazy things with Patcha, but then I will show you what I did with Patcha on this project. But I just did a simple stuff. But there are cases where we do complex wirings and stuff. But then Patcha will just open your creative mind to do a lot of stuff. But then let's head straight to Let me play a little bit of the beat for like a minute so you hear what it sounds like. All right, so that was just pretty much it. Yeah, so I'll start from the let's break down the beat and see what we actually did. So from the beginning, the first thing I had was me recording. I was singing a little bit stuff. I like using, adding a little bit of vocal sampling here and there will help. So that was my vocal. I was singing something. You see, that was I just added what I added there was just the fat filter EQ, cut down the lows, just to make the vocal sound good. Compression, I use a two-tech compressor to compress. I also added a radio, make it to sound more radio. And I added an auto tune to it. Then I added a reverb, the fruity reverb, pretty much it. So we got it to sound like that. And the next thing I added was now the drums. The drums in Afrobeat is the life of the song actually. The drums, the bass, those two things. So I had just basic Afrobeat kind of bounce, just the kick, the snare, and some other percussions here and there. So and on my kick, I was just cutting the lows, nothing extra. Cut off the highs on some of the snares on the rim shot. Just basic EQ with nothing drastic on the drums. just cutting frequencies that are not in the fundamental frequency of that particular sound that I'm working with. It helps clean out the sound to avoid a lot of frequency buildup in places where are not necessary. You get. So then I chew in the shaker normal. Started with an impact clap so that the song will just start off with the energy, you know. The next thing I added my jazz guitar. And if you observe, the jazz guitar is having some kind of slide. Just kind of little stuff add life and dynamics to your instruments. I was doing more of the slide notes on some places here. So what I had there was two jazz guitars actually. This is a default guitar from FL Studio from Direct Wave. Then I had from Flex also default plugins. Gets and on the mix I had for the first guitar, cut off the lows, added the tube tech compressor to glue the guitar, then added another low cut again. But sometimes after compression, some of those low rumbles are introduced again, so I just cut it off. Then on the second guitar, I added the destructor, just just the filter. Then I added a compressor, the API to 2500, just to glue the whole stuff again, and that was it. Then under it, I had a complementary guitar, just from Direct Wave FL Studio 2. So I had it on the mixer 12. Okay, now see what I did this particular place. I cut off the lows and the high just to maintain the mid frequencies, and added the compressor to glue it. Then at that point, next thing I added now was a fruity panomatic. What it does is it adds movement to a sound. So in that particular sound, I didn't want that guitar sound to be so static. I want it to be moving from left to right. So you have that feeling of okay, excitement. You can actually do volume panometric where it goes up and comes down. So I choose the pan and tweak the amount and the speed to add movement in the track. So if you listen, it's actually moving left and right. You get me? That was all for the intro. Then that was for the first four bars. And the next four bars I introduced, the intro is 4/4. That's 8 bars of intro. I added I added like extra instruments there to add a build up. I added a snare and a conga. Yes, it sounded like that. Then the guitars I had already. My vocal sample. And I had this bass. I like using this bass a lot. It's from Fruity DX10. It's called the E flute. It's a flute actually, but if you play, sometimes you make your bass from other instruments, just play on the lower octave, and you get really exciting bass that you haven't heard before. So it sounded like this. gives you that sobbiness that yes, on it. Okay, what I had from Soundtoys this effect track where you have a lot of plugins here. Now I was adding the devil lock, more like a distortion to add darkness and crunch and crush and everything to give it a high or mid frequency representation. You know, when making your instruments or mixing your song generally, you pay attention to every sound system. It might be sounding, the bass might be coming out in speakers or so, but what about those playing it through their phones and those playing it through their laptops and devices that don't represent the bass frequencies so much? So with this distortion, the bass frequencies can be replicated in the mid range so that it can be played. I don't know if you understood what I was saying, but the next thing I added was a compressor, the tube tech compressor, just to glue the bass. When I remove the distortion, you would hear less of the high frequency, but with it gets. Then lastly, I had a side chain. I use the Fab Filter Q3 to side chain the kick and the bass. So when the kick is coming, I don't know if this video is going to get long, but watching it through, actually you pick out one or two stuff that will help your production. But then I used the kick to sidechain the bass. This is the kick. I sidechained the bass and I activated the sidechain on my Fab filter. So when the kick is playing, the frequency of the kick brings down anything that is in the bass to create space for the kick again. It makes your low end to be precise instead of doing a lot of compression there. So that sidechain helps the low frequency. So when making beats, mixing your beats is also very important. You can be a very good instrumentalist, but if your stuffs are not mixed properly, it will be shit. With that, I added an extra sound. String from Nexus. This wow synth from Purity. Pretty much everything on the intro. So the intro sounded the first 8 bars of the verse, pretty much the same thing. But then inside, if you observe, my drums are a little bit different because sometimes I like having variations inside my drums. So these drums might play something else. I might not come into here, make it unique so that if I change anything here, it doesn't affect the other one. So it adds more life to your sound, making it change once in a while. So if you observe here, what I played here, the same strings I played in the intro, but it's sounding different if you observe. It's sounding, this one is brighter. It's sounding different. I had to bounce it as audio, bounce it out as audio, then get to the Stretch Pro and just stretch it a little bit. On the Stretch Pro, once you move it left or right, you get a different kind of sound from the sound you already had. So, and I added the Anna bars. And on the bass, on the Anna bars, what I had was just compressor. Just to glue the whole, get the groove going. Some fills, some rolls here and there, you get me? To introduce us to the next 8 bars of the verse. The next 8 bars I brought back my snare and my conga. brought back the first bass, removed what the other bass there. I introduced a sound. It was just one note, but I had to bounce it as audio, send it to the mixer, and added some delay to it, so to have the ping pong effect. The chorus, the chorus, I added some extra fills. Then now entered into the chorus. Then on the chorus, what we had was I brought back the vocal sample, added this guy. Okay, I added this. You know, your chorus has to sound a little bit more groovy than every part of the song. So I added extra elements. There are like three extra instruments. I had my trumpet. On the trumpet, I added the pneumatic also, and I was giving it that movement. So you see a lot of stuff moving around in the beat that once you wear your headsets, your head go on blow again. And I added reverb definitely. So the next thing I added was a chorus bass. What did I use to play with this? Okay, Nexus. I used Nexus to play this particular one. I didn't add anything. I like the way it sounds. I just left it there. Then the next thing I added was this sound. Another jazz guitar. Just to play some chords, you have to make it full. Then at that point, I also changed the snare a little bit to sound different in the chorus. Also in the fourth second, this is 4 bars of chorus. Then the next 4 bars, I added a conga bass to make that place a little bit more interesting. Okay, even before I missed out one instrument, yeah, before the in the verse, before the chorus, I added more like an English horn. The second verse, I had to add a mute guitar. Now for the mute guitar, I cut off the lows. Then I brought in pattern. Now the simplest thing I did in this pattern was, for that mute guitar, I split the frequencies mid and high. You get. So I use this frequency splitter. This is from the one that is coming out of FL into FL Studio. That's your MIDI, what you played. Then this is out, what is coming out to your mixer. So I added two sends, mid and high. I put this one in send 1 and send 2 to differentiate it. So these are the two sends. So this is the mid frequency going out straight to FL Studio. I don't want the mid frequency to be affected. But for the high frequency, I added a delay to it, a ping pong delay, then also a reverb to it, then sent it out to FL Studio. So my muted guitar, we now have, I split it into two. The mid range has no effect to it, then the high frequency has a delay and a reverb to it. So again, so that was just a simple thing I did there. Without patcher, you hear what it sounds like. Then with the patcher, you see the effect I had now. These are just subtle things you can do with patcher, but patcher is way bigger than this stuff. Because you can see a lot of patchers. I don't know if I can show some on the screen. You see a lot of crazy wirings that will blow off your head, but patcher is actually simple. You get. But if you want me to do a video to teach patcher and stuff, just drop the comment and I will get it done. This renegade guitar from popular from Contacts. That was pretty much everything on this beat. The beat is straightforward and simple. We couldn't miss out my tag. I have two tags actually. When you hear Lamba, then you know the beat was made by me. But when you hear this particular one,
Playboy sound.
then you know I did the mixing. So I have a lot of more mixing and mastering videos on my channel than beat making. So I think I'll have to do more beat making. Or which one do you guys think I should make more on the channel? Because I have a lot of varieties of videos that will help any producer that wants to do well. You get. So that's just it. I'll see you guys in the next video. I don't want this one to be long, but it's already long. But then it's knowledge. See you guys on the next one.